Welcome to today's white paper interview. I'm Audrey Cushing, the Director of Business Operation and Quality at V Technologies. And today I'm going to be interviewing my colleague, Paul Fiore, on his new white paper, A Bow Tie Earns Respect at the Water Cooler. So Paul, thank you for joining us today. That's a really interesting title.
It's colorful, yeah.
It is.
As most bow ties usually are.
Yes, I almost expected you to be wearing one today.
If I had an orange one for V Technologies, I would have. I just kind of went traditional.
All right. Can you tell us about this topic and what inspired you to write this paper?
I sure will, Audrey. So what inspired us to write the white paper and what a bow tie is really all about? If you think of a bow tie, you have the wider ends that connect at the knot in the middle. Well, the reason I didn't wear a bow tie is because this is about a reverse bow tie where you have the single points of contact really supporting from the outer end, and as you get into the middle where the client interfaces with the vendor, each level has their own peer who they can get to know, relationship with, earn respect with, and confidence with, and that's the important thing. So finance to finance, architecture to architecture, and so on, even leadership to leadership, project level to project level. We saw a massive decline in the project hours, but we didn't notice it right away. We only noticed that after a month and a half or two, the principal and we discovered on a call that all the hours we were billing were for training hours. The billable project hours had eroded because of work that wasn't accurate. They felt at the client side, they were working with interns, junior architects. There wasn't communication, live dialogue. They didn't feel they were working with a peer. But this was invisible to us on the invoice because we had an agreement where any lack or shortcoming of regular billable workload hours, projects, can be replaced by training hours. So the invoice looked the same week to week to week. Once it bubbled up and the dialogue at the water cooler, right? The PMs talk to other PMs at the water cooler. They don't go upstairs to the principal, right? Just like imagine yourself at a school, the kids talk about how lousy the pizza is or how soggy the pasta is. Next thing you know, there's no line, there's no chow line at the cafeteria, and the principal only knows, no pun intended, when the food service people say, "Hey, we don't have any people showing up for lunch." So that's what happened with this, and we decided to put a fix in place and bring it to the table in terms of a white paper so we could socialize this concept and what turned out to be a very solid solution.
So they weren't feeling connected at all.
Right, right. Yeah, architecture is a very technical pursuit. And I think one of the important components of this particular scenario, which is probably best generalized to sales in general, we call ourselves client services, account manager. You can think of a lot of titles, but they really roll up under a sales moniker because we're supposed to grow revenue. Well, when an architectural PM or job captain or a senior architect, whatever the role is, if they don't feel that they're working with an architect at their level or an engineer to engineer, et cetera, but they feel they're just kind of filtering everything through the monthly check-in with the salesperson, they're going to lose respect for the relationship fast. And bad word travels fast at the water cooler. I'm quoting myself from the white paper there, but it's true.
I can see why this is so important. So in terms of the reader of the white paper, what would you want them to take away?
I would have the reader take away a couple of key things is important here, Audrey. I think good communication is healthy, just as it's important to understand good communication, understanding how poor communication has a negative impact with the client and the client relationship. Aligning poorly with the client has a negative impact as well. And in this situation, the negative impact in terms of live project work and trust from the project managers was invisible to us, to the people that could make, to the positions that could make strategic adjustments to keep the relationship alive and grow the relationship. So I think that's one of the critical aspects.
So the communication has to go two ways.
Yes. Yep. People talk, and better that they talk with a peer between client and vendor than have, negative dialogue among their own colleagues, right?
No, absolutely. All right. So for our audience, Paul's paper is available on our website, and we encourage you to take some time to download it and read it, and we don't think you'll be disappointed. Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, Audrey. Cheers.